The Falcons made a big move in the first round of the NFL draft by selecting two standout players, Jaylen Walker, a linebacker from Georgia, and James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. These two SEC stars are heading to Atlanta, and I'm excited to break down these picks. Let's start with Jaylen Walker, who was picked at 15. I'm giving this selection an A grade, and here's why. If you've been following the pre-draft buzz, you know I've been all in on Walker as my top target for the Falcons. While many fans were clamoring for a pure pass rusher, I believe this defense needed more than just that. They needed talent, and they found it in Walker. He's not just a versatile player, he's a game changer. Last season, he led Georgia in sacks and pressures and ranked 7th in pass rush snaps. I see him stepping into the lineup as an inside linebacker, where he'll be used in various blitz packages during passing situations. Over time, he could develop into a player similar to Micah Parsons, who has made a name for himself as a defensive end. While Walker might not reach those heights, he's a solid player at 6'1" and 243 pounds. He was a key part of Georgia's defense, and his leadership qualities have been praised by coaches. Raheem Morris must be thrilled to have a player like Walker on his side, and I can see him becoming a fan favorite in no time. Now let's talk about the rumors surrounding the draft. There were whispers that the Falcons were eyeing James Pierce at 15, but when they saw Walker still available, they couldn't pass him up. Last year, Atlanta tried to trade back into the first round to grab Latu, and this time, they succeeded in trading back in to get Pierce. I'm really excited about Walker. I think in a couple of seasons, he'll be one of the top jersey sellers and a beloved player on this defense. And keep in mind, I'm a Tennessee grad who's more pumped about this pick than the one involving my own alma mater. So that says something. As for the Falcons' next moves, they don't pick again until the third round, but Terry Fontenot has shown he's not afraid to make trades. So anything is possible. If you want to keep up with the best Falcons draft content, make sure to stay tuned. After the draft wraps up, I'll update the depth charts, but I can see Walker fitting in nicely next to Caden Ellis. I think he'll be a better version of Ellis, serving as a blitzing specialist while also contributing to run defense and coverage. Tom Downey has Walker ranked as the 13th overall player, so if you're looking for a best player available pick, he's your guy. He's an excellent athlete and a one-year starter at Georgia, which doesn't concern me at all. The Bulldogs have become a powerhouse for defensive talent, and while Walker may not have elite size for an edge rusher, he excels with his athleticism and ability to close in on quarterbacks. The Falcons are on the hunt for cornerstone pieces on defense, and this isn't a unit that's just a defensive end away from being complete. They're far from finished, so it's smart to grab the best defensive talent available and fill in the gaps later. When it comes to building a solid defense, you've got to start with the corners. Think of it like putting together a puzzle. You don't dive into the middle. You begin with the corners. That's why I love the pick of James Pierce. Now let's dive into my draft grade for him, discuss the trade Atlanta made to snag him in the first round, and take a quick look at some potential targets for rounds 2 and 3. First off, a quick shout out to our friends who are all about making your life easier. Now let's get back to business. James Pierce, the defensive end from Tennessee, is someone I see transitioning to an outside linebacker in Atlanta's 3-4 defense. Before I give him a grade, let's talk about what the Falcons gave up to secure him. There was buzz that Pierce was supposed to be picked at 15, but when he fell, Atlanta decided to jump back into the first round to grab him. The Rams moved out of round 1, and the Falcons took advantage of that opportunity. It's a costly move, though. While they did get a third-round pick, they also sacrificed their future first-round pick for 2026 and a second-round pick at 46. That's a significant investment, and when they made that trade, I thought they were targeting a player they viewed as a can't-miss prospect. For my grade, I'm giving the entire James Pierce trade and pick a B. They put a lot of resources into him, so expectations will be high. But I genuinely believe Pierce has the potential to be a solid pass rusher at the next level. Here's what you need to know about him. He's fast. His linear speed is impressive, and that's his strength. He's not your typical NFL defensive end size. He's on the smaller side, much like Walker. It seems the Falcons are prioritizing speed in their roster construction. They let go of Grady Jarrett, who was over 30 and coming off a torn ACL, and then signed Devin Diablo. In the draft, they picked up both Jaylen Walker and James Pierce, two guys weighing under 250 pounds. Raheem Morris has a clear vision for this defense, aiming for a unit that can't be easily outrun, even if it might struggle a bit in the trenches. When I think of Pierce, I can't help but compare him to Leonard Floyd. Now, I'm not saying they're identical in size, but they share a similar vibe. Floyd, coming out of Georgia, was on the slender side too. He played defensive end and had a bit more weight, but he was still a bit of a string bean at times. Pierce gives me those same kinds of vibes, and I'm excited to see how he fits into this evolving Falcons defense. If you're looking for speed, Atlanta's defense is going to be one of the fastest on the field, with Pierce and Walker in the mix. In 2023, Pierce really made a name for himself at Tennessee, racking up 15 tackles for loss and 10 sacks. While his sack numbers dipped a bit last year, I attribute that to the fact that he didn't play as many snaps early in the season. Tennessee was blowing out opponents, and head coach Josh Heupel often pulled his starters by the second quarter. So I'm willing to give him a pass on that. Overall, you're getting a fantastic athlete in Pierce. However, I do have some concerns about how well his speed will translate to the NFL. That's part of the reason I gave him a B grade. In college, being faster than everyone else can get you far, but in the NFL, offensive linemen are quick for their size, and you might need a bit more strength to push through the pocket. I like Pierce as a player, but I hope the character concerns that have been floating around aren't legitimate. There have been whispers about his locker room presence not being top-notch, but the Falcons brought him in for a pre-draft visit and did their homework. Now we'll see if their research pays off. Giving up a future first-round pick is a big deal, and it's something that can't be overlooked. But right now, let's focus on the present. It's like when college football releases a schedule for 2035. Who cares about that right now? Let's enjoy the excitement of this draft. With two fun picks, how would I grade Atlanta's first round? I'm giving them a B+. It's a fair assessment. Walker gets an A, Pierce gets a B, and when you meet in the middle, you land at B+. What could elevate that B+ to an A? It's not just about how well Walker or Pierce perform. If Atlanta makes the playoffs next year and the Rams end up with the Falcons' 27th pick, we won't care about that future first-rounder. But if Atlanta finds themselves picking in the top 15 again next year, then we'll definitely care.